being used to to the button in the photo booth where when I press it on the Mac and then it goes beep, beep, beep. And so when I pressed record on my phone, I was kind of waiting for that, and then I was like, oh, and then I realized, oh, I'm supposed to talk now. Whoops. And now it's been half a minute. Okay, what's the topic of today? Today, the topic is sex. Sex. It's sex. Sexy sex. Why am I talking about sex? Because I think about it a lot. I think about it a lot, and I don't do it enough as much as I would like to. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. Why? I'm going to talk about it because last year I had sex. Oh my God, that sounds... that sounds just so like such a sparse sex having. Last year I had sex. Like I'm celebrating the year of having sex. Well, it kind of is for me like that way often. Like one year maybe I won't have sex at all. Not so much these last years, but there were some years that I was like, oh my God, there's nothing. I can't meet anyone. Give me a girl so I can fuck her. That's what I thought sometimes. Anyway, last year was sexually significant for me. And the main thing that's in my mind is just that I had sex in the desert. In a desert. With sand dunes under a beautiful blue sky, nearing sunset. Right, using the shape of a sand dune rolling up as our couch or as our resting surface. And something about that experience, when I remember it, makes me puts like a right here in my plexus. It feels like juicy. It's just juicy. It's like yes. It feels a little like that. And there's a couple of things that it's touching inside of me. One of them is certainly infantile pride. Just pride of like, yeah, I did it, yeah, bragging rights. That's one thing. So I think that's partially this feeling of like, oh, yeah, yes, like I'm fed. I got that. Like I nailed her in the desert. That's that voice. Yeah. That's like that's a major one. Is it the only one? It might be. Let's see. I mean, it's cool. Bragging rights. I think it's a lot of bragging rights. Bragging rights in the sexual manner. It's like, yeah, the part of me that thinks that I'm only worthy when I have sex, which is there sometimes. It's like yes, and then the part of that of me that likes adventures and doing things that are uncommon and that one would feel of, or that I imagine sometimes people listening to that. If I heard someone say that, I'd be like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. And now I happen to be the one who experienced that, and so I think to myself like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's that pride. So a little bit of pride of adventure, pride of sexual prowess experience. What else does it touch? Other concepts. I know it goes into other concepts. I'm at a loss right now. Anyway, I had sex in the desert, and that just felt so. Like I said, I'm proud of it. But then I also had sex in the ocean a few months before that, and that was. It's just like it was a fulfillment of fantasies that I didn't know I had until I began having them. Um, so I had sex in the ocean, and there was at least one woman with whom I connected a lot, and we had sex a lot, and yeah, I had sex at the beginning of the year, a little, and then I had sex back in the ocean when I was in Greece, a lot, and that was awesome, amazing. And then I had some sex at the end of the year. Yes, 3 different women. And I feel a little bit, what is it? Ashamed, doubtful, like a little hesitant to actually say this and publish this live. Not live, but publish this, expose it. Because part of me thinks that it makes me seem infantile. Like I didn't really outgrow the childishness of thinking like, oh my God, sex, oh my God. I don't know if people actually outgrow it, but for me, it's very striking. It's like right at the top. It's like sex. It's like if you're gonna do that, good. If you're gonna do something, go and have sex. Go and have sex. Anyway, I feel a little bit of shame about that. And I also feel really good about having had a lot of sex last year. I mean, it was not just, with Julia. Okay, I can say names. And right now I am referring to the fear that I was talking about in the last video, where I was saying that I'm afraid of talking about other people when I talk about my own experience. But now I realize, no, my experience is mine. This experience is mine. I can claim to use these names. Yes. Anyway, at the beginning of the year, it was only once, in a very ritualistic manner. What's my point? I had a lot of sex. I had a lot of sexual encounters. I had a lot of sexual experiences. Okay, I think I'm getting a little bit to the point here. The idea is, it was a fairly intense year sexually for me. And by that I mean that it was fairly frequent. So let's say at least 10 times last year. Okay. Given my history, which might come along in other videos, it's okay. It was pretty good. The diversity of experiences was really nice, because I had like, oh my God, I had sex in the ocean. It's this. I think it's just this fantasy I've had after watching tons of movies and TV series where they don't actually do that, but the scenes are so alluring and that people begin to imagine things. So I began to imagine, oh, in the ocean, oh, in the desert, oh, in the rocks, oh, in nature, the adventure. that would bring me. And so it seems like I just kind of began like checking off tick marks, checking them off, like chuk, 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 inside of me. So things, experiences like these that felt a little bit amazing, fantastic before I had them, suddenly were materialized. They were realized. They were like, oh, I have this. It's not this experience over there. I have it. Now it's here. Oh my God, we just had sex in the desert. Okay. Like it was a lot and it took a while to absorb. But then after I absorbed it, I realized, okay. And a part of me that always asked again, like, okay, now what else? What else? What else? You had these fantasies that I didn't know I had, that of doing these things, that you being sexually adventurous outdoors, giving in to your sexual desires. It was like, I don't know, driving a car for the first time, or doing skydiving for the first time, and having had it as a dream for a long time, and then whoa, you do it, and then oh my God, that was awesome, yeah. And then there's a part of me that just asks, like, okay, now what else? What's next? Because sexually, of course, I can imagine dozens, millions, I'll say hundreds of combinations that I could do in a sexual manner with one person, with two people, with N people, not just right there in the moment, but have it be as a lifestyle as well. I can imagine so many things. But somehow, having had sex in the desert and having had sex in the ocean, and then going to ISTA and being around a lot of women and being able to like sensualize myself and cuddle myself with a lot of women and see their bodies naked and sensual, and just feeling the energy all around of them, all around me, of them, coming off of them, and me having the choice of going in there and sometimes actually being like, okay, we just sensualizing a lot and cuddling a lot, and then I thought like, and then I actually had enough. At some point, I thought, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm good. See you later. And then I would go back to my room or whatever. Like, it's not like I had sex with multiple women, but that wasn't the point. It was just the point that I feel that I reached a level of satisfaction at that moment, after which my voice that says, what else? It's no longer focused on the sex. Like, that's not its focus. When before, I think before it would have been always focused on the sex. It was like, what else? I would be like, oh, I wanna go fuck someone. And that's not the case anymore. Because now my voice asks, what else? And I'm like, I don't know. I've answered I don't know a lot as well, but I'm almost certain that sex is not the answer to the what else voice. It's not what I would give as an answer. And that really has an impact on my life. Because now because now my actions are guided by different priorities. Before, they were guided by multiple priorities, not just sex, but sex was very important. It was very important. Right next to survival. They were fighting often. Like what I mean survival of my own body. And now suddenly that's not the case. So, and I had it, and then I went ahead and had a threesome with a guy and a girl, and I'll talk about that some other time or later. The point is, my vision is no longer going in that direction. My desires are not as strong in that direction anymore. So I wonder, okay, now what? What do I do? Where do I go? I don't know. I'm going to start getting existential now. Like, oh, what do I do in life? It's so lonely in here. Sometimes I do feel that way. Not right now, though. Right now, I'm just curious. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I have a little bit of time. I have a massage session happening in a little bit. I still have like 20 minutes to talk, though. So, blah, blah. I'll do a little more. Testing.